two different solos, each one going through our 12-bar blues chord progression one time, which, by the way, also is true of the intro. I don't know if you noticed that, but if you were to play that 12-bar blues, everything that you play there will match up, will fit perfectly within that 12-bar blues structure. So you can either think of the solo as two solos, each going through the 12 bars one time, or you can think of it as a long solo that goes through the 12-bar blues progression twice. It does also divide itself up very neatly into two parts. So we'll be looking at the first time through today, and then probably next time we'll be able to look at the second half, which is has a lot of the same licks. And in fact, a lot of these licks are going to seem very similar to what you've already played. So the first one is actually kind of the most important one. And he starts it with the exact same lead-in that he starts the intro with, which is so that same little right now. So that was the first bit is easy, right? And then on the third beat, I'm going to flatten my third finger across strings 2 and 3. Then I'm going to flatten my first finger across the same two strings. You have to lift the third finger up now. And I'm going to do a little hammer on, we've done this guy before, on the third string. It's my 6th to 7th fret. So my second finger is going to... No. You're hammering from the bar to the second finger. And then we're going to follow that. The last note of that lick is your third finger on the 4th string. Now, by the way, when you look at your fingers right now, does that look familiar in any way?
Yeah, it looks like a chord.
Yes, very good. Yes, that's like our F chord. Remember, that F chord is just a small version of our big F bar chord. But a lot of times, these smaller versions of the chord are actually very useful for playing, especially for playing lead guitar stuff, and especially for playing lead guitar stuff where if you're the only guitar player in the band. What I remember seeing this an interview with Eric Clapton. I assume you're familiar with Eric Clapton, where he talked about this. That he said, if I'm the only guitar player in the band, when I get to do a solo, after playing all that chord stuff, I find that if I go to just one string at a time, the sound gets very thin and empty sounding, and so I will tend to use more like double notes, like the Chuck Berry stuff that we're doing, and also even chord stuff in my solos to fill out the sound. And when you're doing so, knowing some of these small versions of these chords is really useful because now not every note that I'm playing is part of that chord, but I'm basing everything I'm doing. A big part of knowing how to do this is figuring out which other notes work well with that chord, so you're not just playing just an arpeggio. But there's lots and lots of cool little licks that you can get just from that chord shape. That being said, what he's doing here, so let me play now that entire lick that we just looked at. That's how it should sound in slow motion. One more. That's pretty much right. You need to work a little bit on on your pick control when you're playing those two strings to make sure you're playing exactly the right two strings and none others. So in this case, that's strings 2 and 3. Right. How comfortable are you with that third finger bar also, Andrew? That's a little different. That's not something that I don't think we've done that before.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with it.
Good. Excellent. That's really useful because if you can do that, look at it this way. If you couldn't do that, you would have to use 2 fingers there. Right? And 2 fingers is going to slow you down and be harder, really. So good. Okay, so once again, the next thing you're going to do after that is you're going to play the same lick without the lead in. So we have, and then we're going to play the second half of the lick without minus the most of that. So you play that twice. Then you play, and that's the first 4 bars of the solo is all based on that one lick, just slightly different versions of it. So one more time, and then I'll ask you to try it.